You.
You ready for retirement yet? She giggles, she goes, yeah, a little bit harder than I
Yeah,
am. Like, I
you never
know.
know, that's for sure.
I said, you don't know, the Powerball will break loose. We done the deal. I'm surprised there's room for anything else in there.
Everything's went out.
Well, because, yeah, Angel wears Thursday.
It would be where, it'll be on the other side.
Christmas Day? It's that time of year.
Yeah,
It's that time of year. Once a year.
Maybe she'll put some weight.
Maybe she could stand these.
Wow. Well, I get stopped and cookies for 15 bucks an hour. Bacon's not usually my thing, but I think I can figure it out. $12, you know. It's like being a chemist. Just with food. The smell of cookies can never be monotonous.
No, that was people at Roy's Bakery walking here, used to have it, and I'm like, do you smell this anymore? And they're like, no, I don't know. My sister used to want to be a baker.
Oh, yeah. Hey, squeeze in.
Yep.
I know my mother and my sister both did like cake decorating and stuff like that. They made it out of cakes for years. And that was interesting. Watching you do that was if I had any clue. But yeah. They had some interesting cakes. Two ones. Morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
All right. So we're getting snow tonight, is that what I heard?
Put your tongue.
I know. I read the thought too.
How much you phone?
I don't know. I didn't see the weather last night. I was tied up at the fire station.
You're doing the, surgery.
Yeah. Yep. And I brought my, Gerald was supposed to be here, but he's sick. He's got the GI one, I guess. Seems to be going right now.
Yeah.
Just stay home.
Oh, yep.
Morning. How are you?
Rainy.
It's cold in my office, so I've been drinking tea, trying to
cold
stay
in our
warm, and
office.
I'm just like not, my temperature's not rising.
Morning. Who's all on the line?
This is Jay David.
Do you have anybody else?
Morning, everyone. I ask you to please rise for the opening prayer and pledge allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here today, we thank you for another day of life. Lord, we know that evil exists today and throughout all time. Not everything reflects your love and grace. Man often chooses evil and goes a destructive path. And today we remember a time of great evil in our world. Our hearts are heavy this morning as we recall that day 80 years ago at Pearl Harbor. We remember and honor the other 2,400 American heroes that lost their lives that morning. Nearly half of them were on USS Arizona. And there were 400 sailors and Marines on USS Oklahoma. Over 1,100 were wounded on that fateful Sunday morning. We remember the two young men, Paul Free and Billy Brandt, from Lycoming County, that died as heroes. Their memories, along with these other Americans who paid the ultimate sacrifice, will never be forgotten. This attack led to the greatest generation who stood their ground. You gave them the courage and bravery to defend our freedoms. Let us honor them by protecting our freedoms for future generations. Next Monday, we celebrate the birthday of the National Guard. It's the oldest military organization in America, established in 1636 in Massachusetts. These are everyday Americans that may be called for military operations throughout the world. Lord, we thank you for these soldiers who serve their communities, state, and country. And we ask you to bless and protect them. Lord, we pray for peace in a turbulent world. May we strive to live what is written in the book of Isaiah. Nation shall lift up sword against nation. Neither shall they learn war anymore. Then the glory of God shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. May we pray this daily. These things we humbly request in Jesus' name. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we'll convene the Commissioners' public meeting and ask for the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll move to approve. Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. So carried. Public comment on agenda items only at this time. Hearing none, we'll move on.
Commissioner, we're going to make a change and bring 8.7 up to the first item.
Okay.
All right, correction. We will bring 8.7 up to,
Do 5.0 first.
right, we'll do it right after.
So at this time, we'll recess the Commissioners' public meeting for the salary board. We'll convene the salary board at this time.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Commissioners, in Domestic Relations Office, we're asking for approval of utilization of Title 4D monies for the performance awards for the Domestic Relations Office.
Okay, can I have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Yes,
You want me to come up?
yes,
or-
please. Any Tricia?
Morning. I just want to point out a concern that this information wasn't published. The agendas aren't being published on the website, so there's public time for comment prior to the meetings. But I also have concern from the perspective of the disparity across the county, because we're here again for one department, not that they don't deserve it in any way, shape, or form, but we're not acknowledging across the board, and I have a problem with that.
Thank you.
Do you want me to vote from here?
If you want to.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
I just, go ahead, Commissioner. No, I'd just like to add that, you know, we got some costs down as far as doing studies on reorganization, pay, and everything, and it raised over $1 million. And I'm not spending $1 million to do a study. I won't get my vote on that anyway. And so over the past, I mean, I can go back to Tom Heaps at the Planetary's office, when we have all been talking about just some issues with reorganizations, pay scales, you know, whatever. And going back to Tom's, and then the DAs, and then, I mean, the commissioners are making every attempt to deal, even with the coroners, make every attempt to make things right. We can't do it all at once. It's impossible. And we have probably changed 6 or 7 departments now that we feel comfortable we're in, not only we're in the competitive with other counties seeking our employees, but you know, we can't be competitive in the private sector completely, but we also know that things have changed, that salaries have changed in the private sector as well as the public sector. And we're trying to address them, and we're going department by department. So far, this is a little different, with the DRO, but we're going to continue to address these departments, and eventually we'll get there.
I appreciate what you're bringing up, and I'm hoping, in some ways I'm talking to the county employees here as well as the public. The Domestic Relations Office has saved county taxpayers money, not just by doing their job. If they showed up for work every day and just did their job, they'd get paid. We collect money from people who owe it for child support. And life would go on, and we would pay for the things that we're obligated to pay for, such as the copiers that may cost $300,000. We have an obligation under our agreements with the state and federal governments to pay for those things. We would pay for them out of county tax dollars. When we moved them and we had to remodel the building, which cost over $300,000, we would pay for that out of county tax dollars. What that means is there would be less money available, for example, to give out raises to all the other workers. What the domestic relations employees did is they, in the eyes of the federal and state government, they did exceptional service beyond what was required to get our regular payments from the state. And so the federal and state government said, listen, if you do that, because ultimately when you make people pay child support, remember, at the bottom line of all this is that people don't pay their child support. If people paid their child support, we wouldn't even have a domestic relations office, right? So, and I know there's lots of issues with folks in the community about child support, so I don't want to go down that path. But what I do want to just say is that I hope we will not spiral downward into what is often termed the politics of scarcity, which is that I'm not making enough, I don't have something, so I'm going to be angry that someone else is getting something. We should work towards, let's bring everybody up. And that's what Commissioner Messere was talking about, and that's what the three of us are trying to do. Not in a way that is extravagant, because the taxpayers can't afford that, but in a way that allows people to live at a basic level. The performance of the employees in the department was so exceptional that the federal government said, here's more money for your outstanding performance. And it's accumulated. And they've used that money to help offset costs like the move I said of $300,000, the copiers, automobiles, which originated in the domestic relations office. And then when they had their useful life, we were able to move them to county, which meant we didn't have to pay with tax dollars to buy another vehicle. When you add all this up, it's probably somewhere shy of $1 million, at least, I would say, that they've saved the county taxpayers. And now the federal government says, listen, you can give a bonus to these employees to reward them for their outstanding, excellent behavior. In addition to buying copiers and cards, you can give them a bonus. So the choice we had is, do we tell the federal government, no, we're not going to give this bonus because other people may be envious, other people may be upset? Or do we say, listen, by that close to $1 million they saved, they probably enabled us to pay, it cost us to do a 2.5% raise, about $650,000 a year. They basically helped us pay for 1 year's worth of increases for 532 full-time employees. So that's where we're coming on this, and I hope that rather than view it as I said, the politics of scarcity, where people look at the fact that they don't have something and are angry at others for having it, to say, okay, how can we work together, the commissioners are working on it, to try to raise everybody up. And we're trying to do that. And you know what, if we do a good enough job at it, we may not have any study. I mean, we still may want to have some study just to look at issues of equity, but I hope people will understand where it's coming from. By the way, and I'm not sure about this, I'm going to ask them when they speak. The federal government can pull the money back. I mean, they can pull the money back. So if they look and see that just like Act 13, right? We were concerned about that years ago. If they looked and saw that we had millions and millions of dollars in this bonus money that we're not using, they're going to take it and give it somewhere else. So that's where we're coming from. I don't know what happened with the agenda not being published, but we appreciate you bringing that to our attention. And I just hope that they'll understand the spirit of what we're trying to do.
I do understand what you're saying. I understand what both of you are saying. I just have concerns because we being all, I'm speaking at this point on behalf of all county employees, that we keep hearing about a study, and Commissioner Messere has indicated he doesn't want to pay for a study, which I totally understand. And if you look at corporations and other governments, they do this without paying that money for a study, and you have qualified, intelligent department heads that could work with you rather than delaying something that needs done across the board. And it's not a politics of scarcity. It's I'm working so hard with little in many cases, and seeing that some are getting, and we keep hearing that something's coming, but years pass. So as a member of the salary board, I would feel that I am not doing my job as a member of this if I don't discuss this on an issue that I need to vote on.
No, I appreciate that.
Crystal, let me address your concerns, because they're my concerns also. And I'm the only one in this room that was around working for the county when the last study was done.
Mm-hmm.
When something was actually done, I should say.
I was here. I remember.
No?
Yeah.
You were here, 1988.
There was another study done since
Yes,
then.
but nothing was done.
Correct. Pieces were done.
Pieces were done. But an overall attack on this, I should say there was one other person that was here, was Roxanne, who came in at the end of it. Okay? That's 1988. Nothing's been really completely done. And what we've done as a board in the last 2 years is we've addressed ones that have brought to us where they reorged their office, either eliminated a position or two to save money, or they were done out of necessity because, like 911, they were down to 8 employees. Okay, we couldn't get workers for the facilities management. We couldn't get people to apply because of the salary. and they're saving us millions of dollars. Those are the departments we had to address. This isn't something new across the nation nor the state. I just came back from a CCAP meeting. Lancaster County has lost 70% of their employees when it comes to county government in Lancaster. So Clinton County has gone to 172 employees in their county prison over the last year. Those are major concerns. We're faced with the same challenges. As Commissioner Massar said, we can't fix this all at once, but we are starting to. There are parts of the study that we've had initial conversations. I agree with Commissioner Massar, it's way too much money. We could do this a different way and attack it from a different way. There's a lot of disparities in the county. When you don't update something for 33 years, you're going to have major issues. And things are out of whack in many, many areas.
I just fear that we're
starting-
putting pieces of the fire out.
But this is a concern, and I just talked to an employee last Friday night for an hour on the phone. We had a good discussion about this because they didn't understand the moves we made. After we explained the moves we made and the money we've saved, and they were done out of necessity, he understood. And I brought this up that we have a public vote on this today. And it's a catch-22. We're going to have people that are unhappy with whatever the vote goes. Okay? But as Commissioner Marabita pointed out, this office has saved about $1 million. They paid for their complete build-out over there, which was about $300,000. They purchased a county vehicle. They paid for their investigator that they have. They've also, what was there anything I was thinking of?
Cars?
The cars was another thing.
Equipment.
The equipment, they've paid for a lot of different things. Now, the judge brings us to the fact that they're entitled to these bonuses. This is not our county tax dollars.
Understand.
If it was a county tax dollars, I would have a real issue with it. This is based on their performance. This is based on their performance. And I've asked different departments, how do you feel about it? And I've got mixed reviews. Because it is going to be looked at as, well, if it goes through, why can't we have a slush fund? And there's other departments in this county that make money. The pathonetary, the registers, the recorder. A lot of departments do, but there's departments that don't make money, that don't have that luxury. But this is one where the federal government can pull the good monies back and say, hey, you had your chance to reward your employees. We talk every day about how we can reward our employees somehow. How can we reward them? This may be a way to reward a department because of their performance. And that's what it comes down to. Their performance allows them to have this bonus if it is voted on in that way. So I understand both sides of this.
And again, I go back to, it's not against the merit
Right.
of the paying this
Yeah.
in any way, shape, or form. And I also would just comment that we can't lose sight of, it is federal tax dollars, even if it is not county tax dollars. So it is still tax
I
dollars.
get that. I get that. So it's a decision where I've waited on this for 6 weeks. And I've gone back and forth. And I've talked to different departments. And there are going to be unhappy people one way or another on this, depending on how we vote. But I hear those concerns, and they're legit concerns. And I wish there was a way that we could give bonuses to everybody. But it's just not feasible. We put out a study, not a study request to the other counties to see if they've rewarded people through bonuses. And it's not there across the state. They're trying to use the money to retain their employees. And this was a theme at CCAP last week. How do we retain our employees? And when you hear a county that's lost 70% of theirs, that's scary, because these people are servicing the public.
Right.
I suspect that the judge and the director of the department will go into some of the specific ways that they achieve the excellence. But at the end of the day, what they really did was they got a lot of people working and paying child support.
Like, I'm not questioning.
No, I know.
that.
So ultimately ended up saving federal and state and local tax dollars. Because when people are working and paying their way through work, then we don't need these transfer payments. Then you don't need people going to get other things like SNAP and LIHEAP and et cetera and all the things. But anyway, I hear you, and I appreciate you bringing it up.
And we continue to work on the salary structure, because I'll be the first one to admit it's a mess. there's a lot of disparities. And we're attacking them. I think the things we've done have been great, and those departments have been happy. It's just getting across the board to try to address all of them. And you can't do that overnight. But times have definitely changed, and through COVID, we've seen salaries go up. We got inflation right now that's driving things, and there's a lot of new factors on the table that we have to consider when we're looking at all this. But ultimately, the tax dollars what pays for all this. We cannot put any more tax on our citizens. It can't happen. They can't afford it. And that includes the county employees because they pay taxes too.
Mm-hmm.
They're included in the same, so what they're making, they're gonna end up paying out in increased taxes, and we don't want that. Okay.
So, Commissioner, I know I'm here as Judge Butt's designee for the salary board, but I'm also here as the administrative judge from
Yes,
Essex.
would you like to make any statements, Judge?
Yeah, so I wasn't sure timing-wise when you wanted me to do
Yeah,
that.
if you want to make a statement, then we'll vote.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah, you can speak.
She can speak. Yeah.
I don't normally come to these, so I'm not quite sure how it all works, but I can tell you I've got a hall full of people waiting for me, so. So I just want to clarify a few things that were said. First, Commissioner Marabito, I appreciate, it's clear you've taken time, you've really got an understanding of this. Everything you said is exactly what I would have said as well. The first thing I want to point out is this in no way will affect salaries for the Domestic Relations Office. It's not going to be an increase to their salary. It's not going to be affect their pay grade anyway. This is a one-time performance bonus that will be paid out of these federal funds with the approval of the Bureau of Child Support Enforcement. Mr. Metzger, Commissioner Metzger, I do need to clarify one thing you said. When you said you've checked with other counties and across the state bonuses aren't being paid out, that's not true for domestic relations. This is happening in multiple counties across the state where the Domestic Relations Office is coming up with creative ways to use these federal performance monies, which we're very limited on how we can spend. The federal government and the state really puts us into a box on how we can spend it, and we're having trouble spending it. We have used, I think we looked at since Stephanie became the director, at least $500,000 of it to pay for things that otherwise the county would have had to pay for. This performance bonus is one of the things that we are permitted to utilize it for. The other thing I want to point out, I mean, obviously, my husband works for the county, so he could be someone who could be upset about this. My staff works for the county. They could be someone who's upset by this happening at domestics or something, and not to their offices. I oversee JPO as well as DRO. They could be upset by this. But the one thing you have to remember about DR, they are uniquely different from every other office in this county. First of all, the county only pays 33% of their salary and their fringe benefits. The 66% comes from the state and federal government. We also have this fund, and it's based on our performance. If we weren't performing well, we wouldn't have this fund to be able to try to pull from. We are routinely the top fifth-class county in the state on all 6 categories in performance. And categories are things like establishing your orders timely, collection of arrears, collection of health insurance. So this office, I view it very differently from the other offices in regards to the savings that it can bring to the county. And if they are not continuing to do well, you're going to lose those, you're not going to gain those funds, and then they're not going to be able to utilize those funds to buy things like the new car or the new office, pay for the rover, pay for a part-time domestic relations detective. So just to, Stephanie had done a very detailed multiple-page letter as to why we felt the office was entitled to a performance bonus at this time. We've never asked for this before in the past. But from January 2019 until the end of June of this year, we think there have been some really unique things that have happened in the Domestic Relations Office that warrants it at this point. First, we went to a completely new docketing system where all domestic relation filings, child support, spousal support, are done at the Domestic Relations Office, pulled out of Tom Heap's office and the Pathonetary office, and it's now done by the domestics. That obviously was a huge change to the office. and how they did everything. We had to create a file room, we had to retrain staff on how to docket things, we have to manage that. We had to move from the 3rd floor to the 4th floor. We took our office, the officers in our office were divided into 2 categories, enforcement officers and establishment officers. So you would first start with someone who would say what you have to pay, and then you moved on to another officer that ensured that you paid it. We've combined those 2 into one, so so that you stay with one officer through the entire life of your case. That was a huge change to the office and a bit of resistance from a lot of people who liked that they did one and not the other. We've had a huge reduction in staff. We've been able to reduce the number of our staff, kind of shuffle around how things are done, and we've been able to do that. And then COVID was a huge challenge to our office because our computer system is not the county computer system. It's a statewide computer system, which we could not access remotely. So our officers basically had to work twice as hard to get things done because they couldn't always do everything that they needed to do working remote when we were trying to keep the numbers down in the courthouse so that we didn't have a wipeout of an entire office. And then there have been some huge technology changes that we're still struggling with in the office. They're switching over computer systems, and that is something that we struggle with. So while I understand that there are employees who may not be happy that, wow, the domestic relations office is getting a performance bonus, I do think the justification for it is warranted. The fact that it is not coming from county dollars, that they clearly deserve it. I do want to let you know, obviously, the Domestic Relations Office is part of one of our unions, and this is going to affect part of the union and not other. And so that did not cause any problems. I did clear that with their representative, who spoke with the other, I don't know who they are, but the leadership in the union. So they weren't blindsided by this. They know it's happening, and they gave me their blessing to proceed to bring it before you. So I'm happy to answer any questions if you
I
have
have a
them.
question.
Yep.
And to clarify, when that request went out, I'm not sure, Matt, do you remember what county requested about the bonuses? It was through CCAP. It was an email that went out to all the counties.
Yeah, I don't
I don't remember what county
Was it for DRO or for office
It was
staff?
for offices.
Okay,
So I want
yeah.
to clarify that.
Yep.
And.
Well, I
so-
thought that's what you meant, but I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure everyone here understood
Yeah,
that.
it was for offices, so
Yep.
that's the reason why maybe they didn't recognize the DRO. Do you know how many counties have recognized their DOs through bonuses through the state? Do you have that number?
I don't know if I have an exact number. I think around the time we started to do this is when a lot of counties have, not because of us, but Stephanie's part of a listserv of all directors, and once we had kind of started this ball rolling, that it's now a big topic on her listserv. I know it's been done because the state didn't have any issue with it and had indicated there are some counties that have done it, but I couldn't give you an exact number.
Well, here are my concerns. As soon as I received the letter from you requesting the bonuses, I thought, man, this is very poor timing. We're in union negotiations. We have how many unions? 6. And we also, you have contracts. And you should not be breaking the contract. We should not be going above the contract. Okay, this is something that, as innocent as you may want to believe, I'll guarantee you the other unions are going to sit there and say, I want $1,500. And if we go to arbitration, guess what's going to happen? They're going to get the $1,500 bonuses. So now you times that, 1,500 times 535, we got major dollars. Okay, I mean, it's not as simple as that. And another couple things that I was concerned about was, although I agree with you and Commissioner Marabito as to the state and federal governments funding 66% of your budget, and that the performance awards you receive, and maybe Stephanie will get into that when she comes up to talk about how you get that allocated extra money. I certainly wish it wasn't on us to have to, give you that bonus. I wish it wasn't, but I guess it is. So I would ask this: how did you come up with that amount? I mean, it could have been $20,000 bonuses. It could have been $10,000 bonuses. It could have been $1,000 bonus, okay? And secondly, would this be something that would happen every year? And listen, it's your money. It's, you know, I don't even feel like I should have to be voting on this, but it's your money. And if you come to us next year and want to give them a bonus, then somebody mentioned today, and I think it may have been Scott, that we have departments that make money, that are revenue generators, that they bring in more revenue than they do expenditures. And if I was them, I'd be sitting here going, oh, you know, I make some money here. What are you going to do for me? And so it was tough timing. I'll go back to Commissioner Marabito's statement as far as the amount of money that your department has given to the county overall for improvements. Because if we didn't have that money, then we would not have been able to do those other moves in the cascading moves that we made.
That would have came directly out of tax dollars.
Well, yeah, and it would have been a little bit tougher to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so, you know, it's just very difficult.
And I understand. Can I address a couple of things that you said? First, unfortunately, it has to go through the salary board because they just don't want us to hand checks to the employees. They want to get taxes out of it. You will take the portion that needs to go to their retirement, and you will do that with it. So that's why it has to go through the salary board. It's not necessarily that the commissioners have to approve it, but the commissioners are the salary board. So in the sense, the commissioners are approving it with some other individuals who get to vote on it. With the timing, you know, we are requesting this because we believe, based on what happened during that 18 months, it's warranted. If there had been a pandemic 3 years ago and we'd made all these moves 3 years ago, I would have asked them for it 3 years ago. I frankly don't really pay attention to what's happening with the unions and contract negotiations, so I think this was the time to do it if we were going to do it based upon what has happened in that office. And I disagree with the other offices who say we generate revenue, so you should do something for us. This is not revenue that we generated. This is the federal government saying you have done so well in your performance and in your child support collection, and you have saved your county so much money in the collection, through the collection, that we are rewarding you with these funds that otherwise would have been spent through collection of child support. So I view it as a little bit different. But again, I understand you're in a really bad position because either you're going to say, domestic relations workers, here's your bonus that you're entitled to, that it's not coming out of our pockets, but you get to get it, and other county employees, we're sorry. Or you say to domestic relations, even though it's not our money, we're not going to let you be rewarded. It's a bad position to be in, but I believed, based upon what has happened with this office during that 18-month period, that it was truly warranted, or I wouldn't have brought it before you. And I don't anticipate that, I mean, I obviously won't be here, but I don't anticipate that next year or the year after, you're going to see Stephanie requesting this from her office. It's got to be some pretty extraordinary circumstances that would warrant it. And one thing, I know you want to say something, but if we could put this money towards their salaries and help you there, we would do it. But it's one of the things we're not allowed to do.
So my only question is, we had APO, JPO, the prison, the sheriff, RMS. Basically, everyone made adjustments during COVID and worked through COVID.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's why my list, COVID is one of the smaller in that whole list I gave you.
You said the 18-month period. Is that what you're addressing?
I'm addressing what has gone on in my office, in this office, from January 2019 until now, which include the docketing, the move.
So that was before COVID?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was an entire
It's an
year.
18-month period. I thought you were talking about
Actually,
that.
it's not 18 months. I'm saying it wrong. So it would be, it's 2.5 years. Yeah, I'm sorry, not 18 months, 2.5 years. That's my fault, I'm sorry.
And I'll just add one more thing, because it's a significant amount of money, correct, that you guys receive?
Yes.
And so you I think you're probably somewhere around the $2 million.
Yes, sitting in an account.
Which
yeah.
is only allowed to be used for X things. And here, you know, and I'm sure you would agree with me that when you're talking about that substantial amount of money, who better off would it be served with that money as the people that need it the most? and it's the people, the women, or the men who are behind. You know, it would be nice for the state to say, hey, we'll give you performance, but if you want to give some money to these groups of people because they need it, man, I think that'd be a great gesture. It's
return to the children.
To have $2 million in an account, government-wise, that you have to try to find a way that you're limited in the way to spend it, right? It's like, wow, it's kind of like absurd, especially for domestic relations. Why wouldn't that be an allowable use to get people caught up, or to help them out if they're in need? But anyway,
So ultimately, the goal is to make sure the kids are
provided for it, right?
So just people understand, obviously under federal law, we're not allowed to do that right now.
Right.
But the cost of the bonuses is $50,000. It's 2.5% of the $2 million that's sitting in that fund. That means that there's $1,950,000 left that domestic relations can try to direct to use towards items that otherwise would be paid for by the taxpayers. Some of them we named already. And here's a final thought. Put yourself in the shoes of the person who did the excellent work. And they say, when we did our excellent work and got the money, and we didn't have to, the commissioners could give a raise to everybody without having used taxpayer money, we were heroes. Everybody loved us. When we did the excellent work and we saved the commissioners $300,000, we were great. They loved us. When we got the copiers and paid for them. And now, when a modest bonus comes around, you tell us that we're trying to put ourselves above everyone else. I mean, we have to put ourselves in the shoes of other people and see from their perspective how they view it. And I think to do anything other than to approve this now would be like a slap in the face to the people who produce that money for the taxpayers and for the county employees. Like I said, $650,000 what it costs to give us 1.5% raise.
Commissioner, I'll agree with your statement. There's county departments every day that come to work and save us money. And the commissioners thank them just as they thank domestics for what they do, because that's what they're hired to do. They're hired to do their job, provide a service for the public, and at the same time do it cost effective. And so there are other departments that are saving every day.
Absolutely, I don't deny that. These folks went beyond what they were obligated to do. That's what I was trying to say at the beginning. They could have just come in, clocked in. Yeah, anyway.
Okay.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you very much, Judge. Very insightful. Okay.
We
We have a second.
Are we going to
We're just with the salary, then when we get to the action item, which is going to be first, Stephanie can speak at that time. So I have a motion on the table, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
So it's 3-1.
4-1?
Do I get a vote in that?
I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, 4. I wasn't sure, I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
We assume you're voting.
I am voting yes, yes.
So you yes?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so it's carried 4-1, or 3-1. 4-1, I'm sorry.
Simple math.
It's simple, man, seriously. It's a laugh at myself. All right, get back on track here.
Do you, I'm happy to stay, but if
It's up to...
the vote is done, is there any additional,
Now,
just
if
trying to
you
hear
want to
from
stay,
Stephanie?
you can speak on
Yeah.
when we get, we're going to take it right away.
Okay,
So,
I just want to get back
yeah.
to the people, the domestic people waiting in the
Okay.
hallway.
Thank you, Judge. Thank
Yeah.
you for your insight.
Okay.
Okay. So want to go straight to that, Matt? Yes, at this time we'll adjourn the salary board and we'll reconvene the Commissioners' public meeting.
Okay, and then we're going to pull action item 8.7 up to the top of the list next. Excuse me. Vote on Bureau for Child Support Enforcement, approval to utilize Title 4D money for performance awards for the Domestic Relations Office. Morning, Stephanie.
Good morning,
Morning.
Commissioners. We're requesting that you approve the utilization of Title 4D money for the performance award for the Domestic Relations Office. And I'm not sure what other information you may be requesting from me at this time.
Anything you want to share? That the judge hasn't?
I just think the only thing that I wanted to point out in addition to what's already been discussed is the fact that the monthly statement of expenditures that the Domestic Relations Office submits to the state every month, that does yield additional money to the county, to roughly around $1 million a year. So despite our performance awards that we are getting from the federal government for our performances, we are also having our operating expenses offset by the county as well through our monthly statement of expenditures, the federal financial participation of 66%. So that's in addition to the awards that we have in our Title 40 account.
Thank you for that information. Okay, have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried 3-0. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get back to the operations and chapter 34 minutes.
Okay, under operations 126, County Department Informational Series, what they do for you, the coroner's office.
The office is extremely busy.
Yeah. Good morning, Commissioners, and thanks for allowing us to kind of share a little bit about what we do in the office. It's been a crazy couple years for all of us, and especially the impact that we've seen in my office. For the past 21 years, I've served as Lycoming County Coroner. Prior to being elected into the coroner's office, I served as a deputy coroner for 14 years. I'm also a registered nurse, pre-hospital registered nurse or paramedic. I'm board certified in emergency and flight nursing, which has been extremely helpful in both jobs. I continue with doing some part-time work as a flight nurse, but overall this is where I live. So, staffing, I intended to bring all 4 people, but one of them unfortunately is off ill today. So Gerald Ross has been my chief deputy for the last 10 years plus. He's a paramedic and has also been involved in fire and EMS for all of our lives. We've spent in that realm. So I'm going to let my staff come up and do brief bios on and talk to about their qualifications and what they're doing in the office. So, Kate Nicholls.
Morning, Kate.
Good morning. My name's Kate Nicholls. I've been here for about 9.5 years, and I think most of you know me by now in the office anyway. I'm the administrative assistant deputy coroner. I originally started in 2012 after receiving my bachelor's degree in business management from Lycoming College. I temped for the county for roughly 4 years before I started in 2012, but what do you want me to say? Anything else? I did, yes. I'm nationally registered EMT. It's official.
Finally got that done. That was
Yeah.
a challenge with COVID because of all the restrictions that were placed. So, thanks, Kate. Alexis Martin.
Morning.
Good morning. My name is Alexis Martin. I am a 2019 graduate from York College of Pennsylvania. My degree is in forensic chemistry. I was a chemist prior to this. Started this year as deputy coroner and have been here since March.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Mary Louise Powkey.
Good morning, how are you guys?
How are you?
Mary Louise Pocky. I did almost 20 years with Lowe's Home Improvement. I was an area manager, controlled many stores. I left there when my mother got sick with ALS, and she's unfortunately passed, but it led me to this position, which I'm so grateful. I do have a degree from 1997 in biology and criminal justice from Lycoming College. My goal at that time was to become a forensics pathologist. However, motherhood and being married led me to a different path at Lowe's. I sit on a couple boards at Lycoming College, and I've been here since June. So it's been awesome.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Those are some credentials in this area. You all have full-time jobs, right?
All right. And I have 4 per diem deputies, but again, a lot of them are registered nurses, EMTs, and paramedics. And if you're carrying a registered nurse and EMT cert, paramedic cert, these days, your life is not your own, even outside of the coroner's office, because there's constant openings trying to backfill positions and keep people alive. So we're not quite so busy, but unfortunately, that's not happening. We are providing a 24/7, 365 coverage to the largest geographic area in the county in the Commonwealth. Just this year, we've handled 700 deaths. Thanks to Mary Louise last night, we had 3 more calls last evening. So we've also, and out of those 700, 465 death investigations occurred after 5 o'clock at night, before 8 o'clock in the morning. We've also provided authorization for cremations, which is required by state law. We have to review every death certificate. Sometimes we have to go out and look at the deceased, photograph, and sometimes even do autopsies before a body's cremated, because obviously only on TV will you be able to look at a box of cremains and determine how they died. So we have to be sure that that's accurate when we authorize those. So we're already at 975 cremation authorizations this year. So those are all time-consuming issues. We investigate nearly every natural death that occur outside the hospital settings. And obviously during the midst of COVID, a lot of people aren't even getting into the hospital because the hospitals are so full. They're trying to manage these folks outside. So our numbers continue to climb related to COVID. We investigate all accidental suicides, homicides, and any deaths due to unknown causes. These investigations include reporting to death scenes. We go out, we investigate those deaths, we interview family and other witnesses to those deaths, photograph the scenes, we help other law enforcement personnel collect evidence at those scenes, and then we finally transport the decedents into our morgue area at the hospital. We'll do additional photography, we'll do further exams, we do x-rays, lab work at times. In toxicology, we're using, talking of saving money, we've saved the taxpayers probably $50,000 to $100,000 a year on doing oral fluid toxicology. We can get those results back in 48 hours. And if they've got lethal levels of fentanyl, cocaine, heroin, other substances, then we can, forgo the need for a full autopsy, because the toxicology will tell us you can't live with that much fentanyl in your system, that much cocaine. Those clearly, and that saves us anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 in autopsy costs, plus the travel to and from Allentown for autopsies. So we've done what we can to try and save taxpayer dollars as best we can in my office. So because it is time consuming, we have to go to and from Allentown for chain of custody purposes. We do all the transports down there and back. We stay there for the autopsies. We again do photographs during the autopsy process, and we bring those individuals back and then turn them over to the funeral home so the families can arrange further disposition. We also, not only do we deal with deaths outside the hospital, we're also dealing with hospital deaths, and those are all due to trauma. We now have a level 2 trauma center out here that has generated additional cases for us. We deal with drug overdoses, operative, perioperative deaths, so anyone goes for surgery, if they happen to die, those cases must be reported. We've got to investigate those. Stillbirths up in labor and delivery, those all get reported. There are criminal charges for homicide against an unborn fetus, so if someone attacks a female and causes that miscarriage or the loss of that baby, I can then consult with the district attorney's office and see if we're looking at criminal charges against that individual. So it's a complex operation, and then throw in COVID for the last 2 years, almost 2 years now. The deaths have continued to increase. Currently, we're at 462 COVID deaths have been reported to my office since the whole thing began. 286 of those deaths just this year. Since June 13th, we've been looking at, we just started collecting, because it's difficult to find out if somebody's been vaccinated. Once they've been dead, we can't ask them. So it's not stored in medical records because it's basically done wherever they get their shots. They get a card, If we don't have access to that card, we don't know. So these numbers, 22 deaths have been clearly documented as unvaccinated. 53 vaccination status is unknown, and 34 have been vaccinated. So the vaccines are not bulletproof, but they're certainly, by our numbers, saying a lot of people are staying alive because they've been vaccinated in the community. It's not an absolute, but it's certainly what we're seeing is saying, yeah, the vaccine, I think, is saving lives.
So you had 22 deaths that were unvaccinated.
Yep.
34 that were vaccinated.
Were vaccinated, and 53 that we just don't know, because like I said, there's no common place that we can go to pull that information if that deceased had been vaccinated or not. So, and I don't have, I mean, if we had the time and the resources, we could call families and try to get that information, but we just don't, unfortunately. So, but I think there's certainly the other issue. We're gathering risk factors for COVID. You know, the deaths are largely obese, hypertensive, diabetics, and GERD. Yeah, for some reason we're seeing GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. I don't know why that seems to be, but a lot of people that have GERD are obese and hypertensive, so it's, you know, I think it's kind of goes hand in hand. But those seem to be the four big items that we're seeing with a lot of the people that get really sick and die, along with not being vaccinated.
So I want you to clarify something.
Yes.
You said that 22 deaths of this year or June?
That's just in June. Yeah, just since June.
Died and they were
Unvaccinated, yeah.
And then you had 34?
34 that were vaccinated.
So
and then
you had 34 deaths. They were vaccinated.
They were vaccinated. Now, I don't know what status they were in their vaccination. See, that a lot of people weren't able to get the vaccine early on unless you were in a nursing home, elderly, and or working first-time responders were working in that environment. They were able to get the vaccine. So.
Did they have comorbidities?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, almost all of the people that we're seeing have these comorbidities or combinations thereof. You know, there's a lot. I mean, we have a spreadsheet with all 460
well, that contradicts
some deaths.
That contradicts everything I'm reading.
So, well, that's what we're seeing. You know, I mean, that's what we're seeing. So,
well, there's 53 with the vaccination status unknown.
Is unknown. So they,
but
I would assume,
known and unknown.
Right.
I mean, vaccinated and unvaccinated, they are not the statistics I'm reading nationally.
Okay. Well,
Or locally.
Well, that's what we're seeing on the deaths. Now, I can't speak for the living.
Deaths is why you got the vaccine.
That's why we get the vaccine to try and reduce the number of deaths. I think it's helping because otherwise I believe our numbers would be, you know, even worse. I mean, I don't know. It's a challenge. But anyhow, we're also involved with, you know, we filed reports with PennDOT for highway safety for the fatal crashes. We try to identify issues on the highways and make recommendations to them. We're also filing de-identified drug death reports to Overdose-Free PA, Pennsylvania Department of Health, West Branch Drug and Alcohol agencies. Again, trying to reduce the number of drug-related deaths. We're involved in injury and death prevention activities. I initiated the first child death review team here in Lycoming County. It's hard to believe it's been 20 years ago since we did that. We're reviewing all deaths from birth to 21 years of age, determine if they likely were preventable, and then if they are, we try to push out prevention strategies in the community. We've done things, and you can see these on our website, teen motor vehicle crash maps that we've done through the child death review process. The infant deaths, unsafe sleep, we just did that last month. Thank you again for supporting those activities. Kate's been our infant safe sleep wizard. She provides the cribs, gets the cribs out there to the infants, instructs the parents on infant safe sleep practices. We're involved in high school SAD programs and pre-prom smock crash and prevention programs out in the community. Just raising awareness. We're providing smoke and CO detectors, bike helmets, gun locks, child safety seats. Currently, we don't have technicians in the office, so we get the seats in. We distribute them to children and youth and mainly the state police
units. They do the installs with their technicians, so children are all restrained properly. And all of these programs have been grant funded. We do not, we don't come to you and ask for money for any of these items. This has all been funded. The cribs, the safety seats, everything that we do is through grants. So Kate and many of us have been working hard to facilitate funding to keep these programs going. The Cribs for Kids program we started in 2008. It's hard to believe that time went by too, but again, we're educating the parents about this importance of the ABCs, alone on their back in crib, again, to keep infants safe. I've been serving on the domestic violence fatality review team, again, to try and look at those deaths. A lot of my life is spent on, okay, this person died, but how do we prevent it from happening next time? And so we're constantly involved in those. PennDOT Highway Safety, the Lycoming County DUI Council, again, trying to get DUI offenders off the roads, coming up with strategies to, now there's so many mechanisms. We should be able to eliminate DUI with Ubers and all the mechanisms that people can get themselves home safely. Unfortunately, I know the law enforcement folks in the room can tell you that still the numbers are pretty significant. I sit on the Lycoming County Law Enforcement Training Association for the last, up until COVID, we ran an annual training for fire, EMS, law enforcement personnel. It's an annual 8-hour training program. We've been using the Trade and Transit building over here in the room to teach folks. We brought people from all over the state, law enforcement personnel and so forth. And then we also house 2 of these Pennsylvania State Coroner's mass fatality trailers here in Lycoming County. One is a trailer that's set up for transporting equipment, body bags, PPE, autopsies, kits, tables, anything for mitigating mass fatality situations. The other trailer is a self-contained refrigeration unit that we can deploy anywhere in the state to be able to assist with mitigating those situations. The State Coroners Association owns additional trailers that are housed in Northampton, Cumberland, Westmoreland, Bedford, and Cambria counties. Again, they're deployed. September of this year, I finally finished my 5-year stint, almost 5 years as president of the State Coroners Association, which was an honor and a privilege, but I was glad to pass the baton. I ended up picking it up right in the middle of COVID starting last year as my second stint as president, and we worked through that. So I'm now maintained as the mass fatality coordinator for the state for the association. We're continuing to keep the equipment active and ready to deploy if we need to. So again, thank you for allowing us to share kind of what we do. And any questions?
Quick question for you.
Yes.
On the autopsy.
Mm-hmm.
When are the instances where the taxpayers pay for the autopsy as compared to families? If a family requests it, they pay for it?
If we have done our scene investigation, reviewed medical records, we'll subpoena and get medical records from wherever, whether it's local hospitals, Geisinger, or whatever. We'll go through those records, we'll talk to the doctor. If, based on that, we have a pretty good idea why this person's dead and it's not a criminal case, then it's the family's responsibility if they want another autopsy, or if they want the autopsy done. If we have a younger person that has no medical history, has no ties to any doctors, there's no drug paraphernalia, their tox, what we're doing now is we'll do the tox. If that tox comes back in 48 hours and it's negative, then we're doing the autopsy, we're going down to Allentown. Because I don't know why that person's died. But if their tox comes back loaded with multiple drugs or fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, then it is what it is. The toxicologist will tell us that, yeah, that's what killed this individual. So those cases, and if we have cases where there's criminal charges likely, so we know who sold those drugs, we're going to go after the drug delivery resulting in death. Those are tough cases, as the law enforcement folks in the DA's office will tell you. And you know, they're very tough cases to prove because people don't always buy from the same person. We are dumping phones. We have the data pilot systems in our office now. We're dumping cell phones when we can, trying to pull out text message information, phone numbers, whatever we can use to try and link people to these deals and hopefully, make people accountable for, because as, I kind of stirred up a wave of, this whole thing of rolling drug deaths, homicides. But I truly believe if you sell me drugs and I die, it's death of an individual, hands of another. So why is it not a homicide? It's not an accidental death. Well, people will say, well, it's a suicide because you chose to take the drugs. Or they'll say it's an accidental death because the drug dealer didn't intend for that person to die. It's bad for business. But, either way, you still sold the drugs, caused the death. So that gets kind of back and forth even amongst coroners and forensic pathologists and other people across the country for that matter. So, okay.
Thanks, Barry.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you to staff.
Yeah, thank you all, absolutely.
Very, very tough field to be in. Thank you. Thanks. And we'll see you Friday.
Okay. See you Friday. Yeah, I gotta go up. My phone's blowing up.
Commissioners, I need to make one change, one additional change to the agenda as posted. We're going to move action item 8.1 up next. This would be vote to approve the Lycoming County Jobs Creation Plan and initial program funding amount. And so let me read the program for you.
Absolutely, please.
Lycoming County Job Creation Grant Program, medium to large businesses. The Lycoming County Job Creation Grant Program, LCJC, was established for the purpose of securing job, creating economic development opportunities through the expansion of existing businesses and the attraction of economic development prospects to Lycoming County, Pennsylvania. The Lycoming County Job Creation Grant Program is a key component of Lycoming County's plan to develop, attract, and maintain industries here in Lycoming County to grow the economic viability of our community for residents and our business and industry base. The Lycoming County Job Creation Grant Program is available to eligible businesses who, within 3 years from a negotiated start date, create 11 or more jobs with a program cap of 100. Every new full-time job up to a set maximum, which meets certain minimum wage standards, will result in a $5,000 grant to businesses to be used in offsetting other operational expenditures at their Lycoming County-based location. The business may claim this grant only after the jobs are created. The ability of the business to create the number of jobs specified in a LCJC application within 3 years from the start date. The start date will be the first day of the calendar year quarter in which the application is submitted, unless the applicant requests and Lycoming County agrees to a later start date. The business must agree to create within Lycoming County at least 11 new full-time jobs at the project site within 3 years of the start date. To be counted as new full-time employees under the LCJC program, each new employee must earn an hourly wage rate of at least 225% of the 2021 federal minimum wage, $7.25 an hour, excluding benefits at the time the grant is issued. The business must agree to maintain its operation in Lycoming County for a period of 5 years from the start date. It must also maintain its workforce at the level of when they receive the grant through at the full 5 years. The start date will be the first day of the calendar year quarter in which an application is submitted, unless the applicant requests and Lycoming County agrees to a later start date. Grant funding will be paid out $1,000 per year over 5 years for each qualified employee.
Okay, so can I have a motion to take up this action item, 8.1?
I will move to approve.
Have a second.
I'll second it. Further discussion.
So, I'm very torn on whether or not we should put together this program, and I'll tell you why. This arose as a result of conversations we had with Mr. Fink about going on 2 years ago about how to attract people to the county for employers, how to attract employers. And this was modeled, I believe, on a state program that DCED had. And since that time, a lot of things changed. Now, could things change in the future, and this might be something in the toolbox we would want to have? Possible. I guess there's a couple of questions that I think we should discuss and go back and forth on. First of all, do we need it at this time? I mean, we have these employers creating jobs without any financial incentive. Digger, it's 150 jobs. Chance Aluminum revived J&W Aluminum. I think it's 150 jobs?
Who's that?
Chance Aluminum?
No.
J&W, maybe
No.
50? 60?
Roughly 50.
50 jobs. Great Star purchased and revived ShopVac, and they're moving Stanley Tools here from Chicago, right?
SNK Tools.
I'm sorry, SNK. We always confuse that. SNK Tools. And I'm not saying that I don't think we should do this, but I'm saying that I think we ought to have some dialogue and try to figure out how to make this program the best. Amazon's coming here to build a warehouse. Geisinger Hospital. Can you imagine Amazon applies for this program and we're paying them money? The guy who's the richest guy in the world, and we're paying him money to open shop here. So that's the question. Do we need it? Or are employers doing it on their own? Here's another question. I know some of these, like Digger has got KOZ property, etc. But if you read this program, it says that the employer can apply for funds to offset costs. And on one hand, that might be good, for example, on training. You can't expect our employers, if people don't even have the soft skills of knowing how to come to work on time and everything like that, to want to set up shops. So maybe if we're directing it. But here's a scenario that I just thought about. Digger is being faced with paying a $160,000 tap-on fee to the Montgomery Water Authority, which by any measure of examination appears to be very high when you think that the Williamsport Water Authority is $45,000 and the other one is $25,000.
County Water is
Lycoming County is $25,000. Would Digger be applying to say, hey guys, I'm creating 150 jobs, I want to offset costs for that tap-on fee, when really we should be getting the Water Authority to try to reduce it. But anyway, that's an example that came to my mind. Number two, are we better served by directing all the resources we have to new infrastructure? For example, we know that money is needed at Timber Run to bring water, sewer, gas there, to get other employers there, and we're applying for grants and we're using some money. We heard from developers yesterday how the cost of trying to create developments where people who maybe come in from out of the area to work want to live, and the incredible cost there. Are we better served by directing the money to crumbling infrastructure? We know that Loshy Run is a $7.5 million repair, where literally the street one day is going to collapse if we don't get that fixed. The Jersey Shore Water Authority has requested $500,000, ironically, to bring water lines to both two businesses up there, West Pharmaceutical and Baldbird Brewing, which would help them maintain and create jobs. That's a $500,000 cost. Do we need to decrease the cost to government by using resources for encouraging regionalization? We met last week with Jersey Shore public safety building groups, and they have a great situation where the fire, the police, and the borough have gotten together, and the county's in as a partner with the magistrate's building, this proposal. And that's $9 to $10 million project. There's no way that people in Jersey Shore. So at the end of the day, the program, while it may good intentions may end up misdirecting scarce resources. Now, here are some practical questions that we need to address. How do we get the money back if we spend it and the company doesn't stay for the 5 years? When I called DCED on the state program, and they told me that one of the reasons it was discontinued is because they had trouble getting money back when employers got money and then eliminated the job, but they've already received 2 years worth of payments. So, a company creates 100 jobs, 1,000 a year, they get $200,000. How do you get it back if they don't keep those jobs? I think at the very least we need to put in some amendments today, and I think Commissioner Massare, you have one that you've raised. I think we need to develop regulations that are going to cover how to monitor the wages paid, so that we're ensuring that people are getting, it's about $16.31 an hour, how to monitor, how to get money back if the employer doesn't maintain the jobs, and then also how to do it in an equitable manner. I appreciate that, and actually we came about this proposal through conversations we had, that it's a tool in the toolbox. I think we need to be careful about how we spend it, because obviously each one would be voted on. We need to put something like that in there, that each one would be voted on.
They would file an application and ultimately make this decision whether they would be approved.
Right, and it would go before a public meeting.
Right, yes.
Right, yes. But I don't think the idea of having it is in and of itself a terrible thing. I think that we need to, they always say the devil's in the details, and that's true here too. So anyways, to my colleagues, I put some ideas out there that you want.
I look at this as this is going to have to be a living document, but we need to set the table, okay? When we were discussing, I apologize, I'm standing up, I just got to stretch out my leg.
From your surgery, you
Yeah,
had
from the
surgery, right?
Let's talk about what expired before, and we had no wins in this county. I've been a commissioner, and yeah, you had small businesses pop up, but very small. You had very the last 2 census shows us we're losing population. Okay, there's reasons for that. Okay, a number of reasons for that, and that's why having every tool available in that toolbox to be ready to launch, to be ready for that economic development that we have potential to grab is so important. And this is just one plan I think that the commissioners are going to set up in the future. But we had an airline that was, treating us terribly. And when you start to lose your airlines, you start to lose your hope, your faith in the community. Where what's happening, we're not bringing in jobs, and that's what we were faced with. And we went to Jason Fink and other stakeholders in the community and said, what can we as a government, who, by the way, collects certain money from the federal and state government. We also have the Act 13 funds that we can leverage, okay, to possibly make this a more attractive place to be and to come and work. So we had everything working against us at the time, and this was proposed, and we all thought it was a great idea. Now, I will be honest with you, one of the reasons why this was brought up amongst many was that the West Company in Jersey Shore were planning to expand, and they had 2 different locations. Okay, and Jason, you may be able to help me out with the cost of the expansion and the number of jobs, because I don't have my notes with me. But when we sat with we didn't sit with them, we had a Zoom meeting up in our conference room, and their consultant was talking about, well, we're going to choose between Williamsport, Jersey Shore, North Carolina.
Jersey Shore wasn't part of that factor.
That wasn't part of that? Okay.
It was
same company though.
It was Williamsport, North Carolina, and Michigan,
and
were the facilities.
Okay.
They were.
Okay. But So we thought, what incentive can we provide this company that was going to add how many jobs?
Well, in total, combining the Jersey Shore.
Yes.
At that point, they were talking about 130 jobs.
130 jobs, okay. At that time, I don't even believe we had a contract with Digger.
No.
When we were talking about this. Digger was not there. And so, knowing that we're hemorrhaging, you know, that our median household income is very low in comparison to other fifth counties, okay, or other fourth class counties in Pennsylvania. And we need to become more competitive, that this is a good idea. And the West Company was one of the things that we had discussed about possibly using this money to incentivize them. And even to the fact that I'd say I couldn't make a commitment at the time, but I certainly would create this, fund it, if approved, and then get the applications out, whoever wanted to apply. I think it was a good tool. And I base this decision here today on that premise, that this was for not just one specific company, but for whoever wanted to apply. And when Commissioner Marabito talked about amending it, you know, it has to be up to $5,000. Okay, because obviously small business in our community is 5-10 people, you know, that's working in there. To them, that $5,000 means a lot if they were to get granted because of the startup cost. To a large company, you know, national or international company, maybe not as much. But nonetheless, the incentive is still there. They're planning their expansion. Can you tell me how much money that they're planning on putting into buildings?
Roughly $18 to $20 million.
$18 to $20 million. So what does that mean? It means a lot, because they're not in a KOZ. Well, we may provide additional incentives, but that needs to be discussed. But they're not in a KOZ. These are going to go right to the taxpayers. And I think that's very important, not to mention the amount of jobs. When we look at the business must agree to create jobs and at 225% of the federal minimum wage, which is $16.31, right? Well, that may change tomorrow. Okay. Right now, wages are going up. And so that's why I say this needs to be a living document. Because if the minimum wage goes up to $12, $15 an hour, well, then that's not realistic. Okay? So there's going to be things that are going to change within it. But I believe it's a start that we must lay the roadwork for future commissioners to look at and change if they need to, but to have the funds there so when that opportunity arises, that we can bring in more people, build more homes, bring more businesses. That was our insight, you know, our vision to set this county up to succeed in the future.
So it's my understanding from previous commissioners board, there was funds set aside for job creation that were in planning, I believe.
Economic development.
Economic development. That was up to how many?
We had always placed, and I think it was $1 to $2 million.
Right.
But we never used it.
Right.
You know, and that's another program we're going to probably discuss in the future.
So this lays the foundation to help job creation. And it's true, we have two fantastic colleges here. The kids obtain their education, they move away. And we've seen this. We've seen our population decrease. We're 66 out of 67 of the counties and the growth, which is a major concern. We have a major win now with Digger. We have more major wins coming.
And chance.
With chance. And so we have an opportunity here to grow the tax base. That's what I want to do. I want to grow the tax base as a commissioner. I want to see good jobs out there, and there are plenty of jobs out there right now with other employers. We have talked about workforce development, which is another major issue. Getting the employees, and it's through the colleges, it's through the youth, it's through anyone who wants to switch careers, it's through anyone who wants to retire to start a second career, and having those individuals have good paying jobs. We talked about the poverty rate, we talked about the median household income. By bringing good jobs here, that increases it. That's what we want. We want to increase wages. We want to have good paying jobs. We want to have good jobs in our county, and this lays the foundation to do so. I agree with the Commissioner. It's a living document that has to be adjusted according to the times, but I think this specific document lays the foundation so we can create jobs, we can help employers, we can help future employers bring more jobs to our county. I've expressed in the past that we have people that are professionals that are moving out of the cities. They're going to other areas. I talked to an individual about 2 years ago. He compared Williamsport to Charlotte, North Carolina. He said Charlotte at one time was known for NASCAR. That's all they were. And he says, if you look what they did down there and how they boomed, and they've channeled out in the different directions, and they've brought those employers there, they've brought those attractions there. You know, it's a port. He goes, there's many comparisons between the two, with the exception of the weather. But people love the Four Seasons up here too. And so he compared a lot of them, and I saw what he was saying. He said, we have a lot of potential here, and we don't want to become a major area. I think people are comfortable with what we have, but we want to have great jobs here. We want to have fantastic jobs, and if we can assist in that way, we're starting to do that. We didn't have a win with Digger when this was introduced initially. I wasn't at that initial meeting. You gentlemen were. But everyone that applies to this, Commissioner, has to go before us, and they have to be approved by us. So that's another stopgap in that. So at the same time, I think that we need to lay that foundation, and I think this is a good idea.
Yeah, I purposely did not talk about West today because this is not a vote on whether West gets the money. This is a vote on whether or not we
Bring jobs.
Whether we put something together so that in the event that we get a period of time or we have someone who comes, I mean, you know, there are job training funds available through the Central Pennsylvania Workforce Development, but you might have employers who can't necessarily wait for that or are not going to be eligible, I could see them using it for some job training and some other things. I would offer an amendment that, a couple of amendments to this. One is and Commissioner, you alluded to it, if you want to propose the amendment, is to change that to up to the 2,500, that language?
To up to.
Oh, up to 5,000.
Yes.
Right, up to 5,000. But it's the up to as opposed to the flat amount, right? Right. And then also, I would just add that, that the commissioners would develop, you know, some additional regulations that will cover how to monitor the wages paid and the year of creation, how to get money back if an employer doesn't maintain jobs, et cetera. And some of the other things that will come to mind as we do it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was going to say I would offer those two amendments now.
Okay. And I just want to add back to the population and increasing that tax base. I want to bring the kids back to our communities that have moved. Right. They want to come back home to their families. And the professionals who want to come here, and because they're tired of the high taxes in the city, they're tired of the crimes in the city, they're tired of a lot of government overreach, and they want to come to our community to reside. And there's a population that moved after 9/11 to the Poconos because of what happened in the city. All the cities now are looking for people. People are looking to relocate to those areas, to be professionals, to take their jobs. And if we have employers who can expand on those jobs, you can hire those professionals, it's a win-win for the county.
You know, this is just one tool, But I want people to think when, we had a good meeting with our transportation department yesterday. And we can look for big things to happen because of this Central Susquehanna Valley Transport. What is it? CSV.
Central Susquehanna Valley Transportation.
Right. And you can see what happens. So I want you to think about driving up to the New York border using 15. Now you can get up there in like 45 minutes. You know, well, some people can. But you know, no more than an hour. It's an easy drive. And you know what? People will go up to those venues in New York. It's fast. It's easy. Think about the bypass, or just the road going down to Harrisburg. It made it a lot quicker. Okay, what they did for the improvements, and now that bypass is going to be able to you'll be able to leave Harrisburg and probably get up in here in an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes, or less. Okay, so it opens the door to a lot of opportunities. When people can get to a particular destination faster because of transportation, guess what? They'll move. They'll move out of the big cities. And they will utilize everything that we have to offer up here. So I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about some of the other programs that we've talked about, and we still have to present it, talk about it and present it to the public. These are game changers as far as I'm concerned, and I think we need to do this.
I think, Mr. Fink, if I recall, when we were having a conversation about this, I had said to you, are there programs? And we talked about the fact that the state had eliminated the program. And so what this does is it allows Mr. Fink or any other realtor who is entertaining and showing people properties in the county, it enables them to say, okay, listen, there are programs that the county has to help you offset some of your costs. And that's what we mean by a tool in the toolbox. And each program will have, each request will have to stand on its own merits, but that at least it gives us the ability, which I think that we had decided was no longer existing when the state eliminated the program. And it gives us that ability to do that. So that is a point to what you're saying, and we'll look for other things to do that too.
It's a great foundation. It'll be a living document.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no motion?
So I actually made there's a motion on this, but I had made a motion on doing the amendments, but I think we need to.
You want to act on the motion?
Yeah, but there's a motion already
The
passed.
amendment.
Yeah, the amendment.
Okay. So you want to state it one more time for the record?
Is the solicitor on the line?
Yeah.
No,
I think you'd have to withdraw put your motion aside.
Should I withdraw my first motion, solicitor?
That probably makes it easier.
Okay.
Okay, so I would move that we would amend this document to change the language in, Commissioner Sarah, where was that? In paragraph 3. Instead of reading will result in a $5,000 grant, it will read will result in an amount up to $5,000. Okay. And then I would also add that I move that we add regulations to cover the issues that we've discussed today, including how we monitor the program to make sure that the correct amount of wages are paid, how we monitor how to get money back if an employer doesn't maintain the job.
Let's do a motion on first.
Okay.
Okay, so you made a motion on up to $5,000 grant to the business.
Right.
Okay, can I have a second?
Well, do we want to do that, or, I'm in favor of amending, putting monitoring,
You want to do it as a whole?
Well,
We can do all of them as one motion.
Can we?
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously
Solicitor,
changed.
which is best?
I think if you anticipate, and it sounds like the anticipation is correct, that these will all pass, you could amend collectively,
Okay.
approve the amendment, and then vote on the amended document.
Okay.
What's your?
Okay, so it was up to an amount of $5,000.
Great.
That we would develop regulations that will cover how to monitor the wages paid, the year of creation, and any other issues that are in the document. So there's some way to monitor it, so we're not just passing out money without monitoring. And then also how we intend to get money back if an employer doesn't maintain jobs.
If they default.
If they default on their requirement to maintain it for 5 years.
Okay.
Okay, I think those were the main issues that we saw as red flags, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else?
Okay.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah.
Is that your motion?
Yeah.
Second.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, so carried.
Okay.
And then that motion to collect, to accept the Lycoming County Job Creation Program as a whole.
I'll move to approve the Lycoming County Job Creation Grant Program as amended.
Yes.
A second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 So carried. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Jason, for your assistance.
Thank you all. Appreciate the work. Definitely. Looking
Thank
forward to working together.
you,
Definitely.
Jason. I know that we've had some back and forth, but that hopefully gets us a better document.
That's exactly.
Right.
Appreciate
And we'll have to
that.
get applications developed, obviously, and get them out there.
We've got the first step now.
Yeah.
That's the key. So thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Commissioners, there was another piece to that, and that was the initial program funding amount.
Well, I think when we do the regulations, we'll put that in there, the initial funding amount.
Well, we'll have to vote on that, don't we?
Yeah.
We can do that at a
Want to
future
vote on it
meeting.
now?
Well, unless you have an idea what you want to, discussion on the amounts.
I guess we should also discuss where it's gonna come from. Is it gonna come from Act 13 or ARP?
I think that's for a further discussion
Further, I'm
amongst the
fine.
three of us.
Yeah, that's
And then we
fine.
bring that back to the
Okay.
final vote.
Okay.
Okay? We can do that in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
All right, going back, getting back to the original agenda.
Hop around here. Should be a personnel action.
Nope, we're going back to 2.0.
And it's something?
Bid
Oh,
opening.
yes. Krista. Krista, then Brandon. Krista, you still with us?
Cover all the information.
Still with us?
Yes.
Okay.
And we apologize, but sometimes you have to try to accommodate people's schedules as well, so.
Yeah. You have a judge who has a whole courtroom of people waiting for her.
The food products and bread products were multi-line pricing. So there's nothing to read on those. They're used as needed.
Okay.
And I just realized I'm not seeing, oh wait. I don't think, did we get any bid? I don't think we have any bidders on the timber run.
As of yet.
Right.
Okay. Fine, put that back up and
Right.
rebid.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm just double checking my text here and I did not get anything on those. So I will,
We'll let you know that, Matt.
Yep.
I'll verify.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks.
Okay, 3.0, service awards. Acknowledge the following employee service awards. Katja Fry, 10-year service from facilities management.
No, Katja's here.
Yeah.
Just here.
Oh, there, okay.
Hello.
Back and back. Back in the, okay.
Can you come forward?
Yes,
Please.
please. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, this is my first time at a public meeting, so I'm not sure what the etiquette is.
Well, come in and have a seat.
I just
can't
Come in and
hide
have a
back there in the
seat.
corner.
No, I like standing.
Oh,
I have
gotcha.
a bad knee
Okay.
and sitting down.
You can
it's
relate to
just-
that? Yeah. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So.
10 years already.
Yes, sir,
Wow.
10 years, can you imagine?
It seems just like yesterday we met in the hall.
Right, yeah.
And it's hard to believe.
Thank you for everything you do for this county, for your service, and your value as an employee. Great to have you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Excellent job. Jack,
Yes,
Yeah.
I have it here. You guys have
Yeah,
anything you want to add?
no, just thanks very much. We used to see you more often when you were assigned to this building.
Right, but this building is boring, courthouse is more interesting.
Right, right.
More
That's
cleaning to do, you
Well,
have
it's
no
the-
idea the things be fine over there.
It's the people in the commissioner's
You saying
office
we're
in
cleaner over
particular.
here?
that were-
Huh?
Are you saying we're cleaner over here?
Yeah, you're clean over here, that's right, you're more neat, it's a mess over there constantly, so.
But seriously, thank you very much.
Thank
for what you do.
Thank you, yes. Yeah. Anything you want to add, say?
No, not that do I need to say anything?
No, you don't need to.
No, but you
Give you
say
the
things when you
opportunity if
need
you like
to, right?
Right, I
Yeah.
say things when I need to, other than that,
Great.
looking forward to the next 10 years and retirement, right?
Thank you.
No, not treadmill, my body can't handle treadmill.
It's not an easy job.
Right in front of the flag.
All right.
Here you go.
Well, thank you very much. All right.
Great, thank you.
Hopefully you don't.
Come this way so we get this.
If you do.
I didn't. I didn't figure on it taking this long. Are we checked?
Click now. There we go.
Thank you very much.
Now I can go home, right? Go back to sleep.
There you
And
go.
remember, if you have that parking ticket, you bring it over here.
All right, I shall do. Hopefully I get lucky, right? And they move slowly.
No, that won't be the case.
Some days we see quite a few out the window, and other days tickets.
Yeah, I think we're going to honor
Yeah.
him at a later date.
We are, unfortunately, Denny Brewer and Steve Smith, both from RMS, were unable to attend today, so we'll try to reschedule them for 10 years of service.
Do they have to wait another 10 years or no?
Good one. All right, moving on to 4.0, accounts payable cash department. Brady Clemens.
Morning, Brady.
Good morning.
You guys got the report and everything, okay? All right, because Maya and I were trying to work out how we were gonna do it now. I'm here to present the Accounts Payable Cash Requirements Report for invoices due through December 15th, 2021, to be paid on December 8th, 2021, in the amount of $2,079,046.85. Of which approximately 43% is funded by county general, and the remainder by RMS and grants and other revenue sources.
Right, we have almost 46%, 950,000 from the landfill paid out of the revenue from there. But it's a big hit for us this week, 889,000 coming out of the tax. Okay, I'll move to approve.
And real quick, Brainy, where are we at for the spending for the year?
I'd have to run the report, but the last time I looked at it here a few weeks ago, we were only at about 68% spent for the year, when we should be somewhere around 88, 90% spent for the year.
So that's a good sign too.
Yeah, that's a good savings, yeah.
Very good savings, okay. Commissioner made a motion.
Right.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All fair say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, moving on to 6.0, personnel actions. Roxanne?
Good morning again, Commissioners.
Roxanne?
At pre-release, we have Christina Steinbach McKee as a Clerk 3 full-time replacement, pay grade 4, $14.09 an hour, effective December 12th, 2021. In the courts, Jonathan F. Dwinells, Administrative Specialist, full-time replacement, pay grade 6 at $16.76 an hour, effective December 13th, 2021. And finally, in assessment, Leanne A. Ellingham as a field data collector, full-time replacement, pay grade 6 at $16.76 an hour, effective December 13th, 2021.
Okay, any questions?
move to approve.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye. So carried, thank you.
Thank you.
No information items today. Moving on to action items. 8.2. Commissioners seeking your approval on Act 13 agreement with Clinton Township to use Act 13 legacy funds for $25,000 for the park project completion.
Yes, they approached us, the Clinton Township supervisors approached us about the park off of Route 15 coming into the township, and they have numerous upgrades that they want to do there. It's exciting to see that the whole park would be done over, the fields, everything there would be done over. And they requested $125,000 of the funds of their overall project. And so we're entertaining this today. It's an exciting opportunity, another way to enhance the park and improve it for the residents in that area.
Yeah, and these Act 13 legacy funds are specifically for parks. And we appreciate the work that the township folks did, taking the initiative to do that. And, you know, we can help out by helping to move it along.
And some of those improvements would be a walking path. The parking lot would be improved, storm water basins would be improved over there, picnic tables, park benches, video cameras, playground equipment, a basketball court, Little League complex over there improved, lighting, and many more improvements for that entire park over there. So it'd be a great boost to their township.
And they got a grant from DCNR of $70,000 that the township is going to match. And you know, these are the kind of improvements when we talk about the work on the jobs creation and so forth. Having communities where people want to live are very important, and doing things like this, them taking the initiative to do this, makes the community a better place to live, and it's gonna just really be better for everyone.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Go ahead.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second it.
All fair say aye?
Aye.
Aye, so carried. Thank you.
8.3, vote to approve grant and monitoring agreement with River Valley Regional YMCA. This is a 2022 budget item for $25,000.
So, Mr. Chairman?
Have a motion first?
Yeah, I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion.
Yeah, this is a program that that we were able to go and view at the YMCA. The Superstars.
Yep.
Superstars program, and you know, it was just amazing to see so many good things going on between people being able to get out of their houses who have diverse abilities and who oftentimes don't come out, people in the community interacting, and just also some of the folks there who never came out being actually now in leadership positions. And those are activities that help people develop skills for workforce and everything. So there's a whole lot of positive that came out of this.
Yeah, this is a program that's for the diverse ability community. Diana Logan had started at the Eastern Y. I believe at that time she may have had maybe 6 people. I believe she has well over 100 adults, anywhere from age 8 up to 60. 66, I believe one person was.
Yeah.
There's a person actually drives down from State College to attend it. It's now being taken to other counties where they're going to introduce it into their facilities, such as their Ys, to help the diverse ability community. We're hearing stories about, we have people that their self-esteem was so low due to their diverse ability, they weren't even leaving their homes. This got them not only out of their homes, but it helped them make new friends. It helped them with their social skills. It helped them with their social skills to go out and look for employment. And many of them have become employed now throughout the community. We had a great opportunity to go to one of the programs back in October on a Friday, and to watch them dance and sing, and it was a great event. It was awesome. It was so neat to see it, and just see them interact, and your heart went out. And any way we can try to assist them, I think this is a fantastic opportunity for the county. I want to compliment Diana, the Y, her her staff. They're volunteers. They don't get paid to do this program. I know one of the volunteers is a friend of mine from Torsel. He's been doing it 8 years now. He's retired. He looks forward to going every week to help. And he says they give back to him more than he can give to them. And so he touches his heart every time he goes. And so I'm excited to see how it goes as it expands across the state. And it started here in Lycoming County with Diana. And so we want to compliment her and again, all the volunteers that helped her.
Diana and certainly her daughter Amber.
Amber's.
Who's I know you were mentioning you were thinking of her too, and actually her other daughter actually volunteers, who's a social worker, Erica.
Yeah.
And all the volunteers. So the program started as a result of a grant they got. The grant was ending, and I think part of what they hoped as the grant is that there would be enough interest and commitment in the community to be able to continue it, and this is one way to help them start continuing it.
If you ever want to attend, just contact the Y, ask them when the Superstars, what day they meet. Just attend, it's an hour long, it's worth attending. And you might want to end up being a volunteer after you attend because it's heartwarming. So we thank them again. We have a motion and a second on the floor. I have vote on this. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried. Thank you.
Okay, 8.4, vote to approve third amendment to agreement with Rogers Uniform. This is a 2022 budgeted item. This extends the agreement through December 2022. Prices and terms stay the same, and it adds 2 new items to the list of uniforms available for the prison.
And this is a typical contract that we have with Rogers.
Absolutely.
From prior years.
Everything remains the same in the contract other than adding the 2 new line items and extending for a year.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
8.5, acknowledge the list of contracts approved by the Director of Administration for the month of November.
We have them there in front of us. Any questions on those contracts? Hearing none, could I have a motion accepting?
I'll move to accept.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
8.6, vote to approve amendment to lease agreement with the American National Red Cross 2022 budget item. The tenant is exercising its first 2-year renewal option.
Okay.
All the terms remains.
I have a motion.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
And we thank the Red Cross for joining us out at the livestock complex
Absolutely.
and renting that space.
All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, so carried.
We also thank them for all the work they do.
They do. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to 8.8, Sal Vico.
Morning, Sal.
Morning, Commissioners.
Vote to approve the 2021 County Liquid Fuels encumbrance for County Bridge 101, Cedar Run Bridge in Brown Township, Liquid Fuels budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is just a encumbrance request. The estimate for the bridge deck preservation work to be done in 2022 is $80,000. So we're just putting an earmark on that money or encumbrance to be used in 2022.
Okay, motion.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
So carried. Thank you, Sal. I just want to add, while we're talking about these 4 topics here, we have Mr. Bassett here, our engineer, and you 2 gentlemen here, Kelsey, how successful the bridge bundling program's been. It's been due to enormous amount of hard work by the team, and we just want to again compliment you. You know, when I was down at CCAP, I was telling the county nearby about what we were doing with bridge bundling. They have a bridge problem in their area, and we think we might be giving you guys a call. And so they were impressed with what you guys have done. So thank you.
8.9, Kelsey Green. Vote to approve change order with Smart Recycling for Lycoming County flood mitigation, acquisition, and demolition project, 100% grant funded.
Morning, Commissioners. So this change order is just to increase the cost. It will be completely covered by the grant, and it's due to asbestos abatement being needed in 4 of the properties for the buyouts. And this is all within the budgeted cost already for the grant, and it will give them some additional time to complete the work.
Can I have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Gil.
Thank you, Phil.
Have a good day.
All that time for that, Kelsey.
8.10, Austin Deli, vote to approve purchase agreement and price quote with Terra Hill Concrete Products off of CoStar's for pre-bundling program bundling number 2, contingent upon solicitor review, 2022 budgeted item.
So good morning, Commissioners. The first of 2 items, as Director McDermott said, is a quote from Terra Hill Concrete Products for the amount of $299,708. This differs from the initial amount that we provided by $7,500. Their initial form had the post-tensioning itemized as an hourly rate as opposed to a flat rate, which locks us in for a flat rate. This price is for the 2 concrete box culverts that will be utilized in Jersey Shore and Loyalsock Township next year, as well as the post-tensioning that's needed for those bridges. Even with the slight adjustment, this will still come in $80,292 under our initial estimate for the pre-purchase of these 2 bridges. So today we're seeking approval to accept the quote and to begin the purchase agreement with Terra Hill, and that agreement would be conditioned upon solicitor review.
Okay.
I wonder, Mr. Chairman, if we want to have him also do the second one, which I think is somewhat related, right?
Yes, yep.
And then we can get Mr. Bassett if he does.
That's fine.
Sure. Did we want to vote first or not?
I'm going to entertain both of them as together.
Okay, that sounds good.
We'll vote
So-
on them both together.
Okay, so the final item is from Contact Engineered Solutions in the amount of $454,660. This is for the pre-purchase of 3 concrete arch structures that will be utilized in Franklin, Moreland, and Susquehanna Townships next year as part of Bridge Bundle number 2. This quote came in $5,340 lower than the estimate in the initial budgeted amount. So the total savings for pre-purchase on Bundle 2 is $85,632 compared to our initial amount. As you may recall, Bundle 1, we pre-purchased the aluminum box culverts that were installed this year. And we saved right around $100,000 on that. So all said, between the pre-purchase of 1 and 2, we're nearing $200,000 in savings just by getting out ahead and buying them before we move on to construction. So today, I'm also seeking approval to accept the quote from Contact Engineered Solutions and allow us to initiate the purchase agreement contingent upon solicitor review.
Okay, so for action item 8.10, 8.11, I have a motion to accept both.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Further discussion. Our engineer, Mr. Bassett, would you like to make any comments?
Just to let you know that where this is going is we're going to have these 5
Could you
structures.
come up, please? So we're live streaming.
Oh, good.
Thanks.
So where this is going, I took a good look at the detailed schedule, and we're going to be completing these 5 structures by October next year. They'll be completing bids, completing construction. We're going to advertise for bids on the general contract next week, I believe, and then proceeding through with the project. So we'll have all 5 of these built by October next year.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That'll make 9 then, right?
Right, and we're doing another 5, Bundle 3. We're going to advertise that. There's no pre-purchase there. It'd be just the general contract. We're going to advertise that in early January, open those bids late January. These will also get built next year. So there'll be 10 bridges built next year.
That's fantastic.
So with the 4 projects, correct me if I'm mistaken, you had an additional savings that we may be able to use for another township, correct?
Yes, yeah, that's where we're looking at right now. We've yet to enter an agreement with them. We want to see how general construction bids come in for bundles 2 and 3, but the expectation is that we will have enough savings to allow for an 18th bridge in the bridge bundling program.
Great. Well, we put a lot of faith in you and your company.
Thank you, appreciate that, yeah.
Thank you. And because you worked as a partner with us for so many years on our small bridges. And it's exciting to see the jobs getting completed now, although we don't take many photo ops, you know, but regardless.
Yes.
The time in which you complete them, you know, all the work's up front, but the time in which you complete them is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That these jobs go in and get done really quick.
And the residents that live in that area really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna see a dramatic improvement in the county. Just next year, we'll have, by end of next year, I'll have 13 bridges completed, and the program started in July of 2020, so that's something, yeah.
We want to thank Mr. Morosky for all his work and expertise on the team.
Well, you know, these guys.
I said they're a team. That's why I thanked him before, because and Mr. Bassett, because without
he laid down the foundation.
Yeah. They're all fantastic. They work great together.
So wait, you're gonna do 5 by October 2022, then another 5, so that's 10, but didn't we do 4 this year?
Did 4 this year, yes,
So
it's 14.
But you said 13. isn't
Well,
it?
it's 14.
14,
yes.
okay,
Yeah.
great. No, I just
Right,
wanted to
right,
make sure that we were on
right.
target.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely amazing what all you guys have done, and really the way the younger folks have come in and picked up from Mark, and we kept Mark on. Has it been helpful having Mark on?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we kept Mark on at part-time, just a very few hours, but as a mentor. And I think it's helped. I think it's helped move the program, and I think it's helped teach these new guys so that they can continue it. And, you know, you'll be the Mark Morowski in 20 years. You'll be like, oh, yeah, no, you won't. You'll be yourself. Right? Austin, Dallas,
We're trying to write up this whole thing from day one, because we started really with the initial bridge inspection, small bridges with Mark in 2010, and I'm having my guys writing up the entire program from 2010 on, because we have had inquiries from other counties that this should be a template for other people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this works, yeah.
Thanks to that one county might be getting all these.
Good, yeah, nice thing, yeah.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried on both action items.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Commissioners, I'd like to just make a correction or clarification to the Timber Run Industrial Park access improvements, the invitation to bid. Those bids are actually due this Friday, the 10th of December.
Oh, okay. That's why they haven't come in yet.
Right.
Okay.
We'll have that on the agenda for next week.
Well, that's good.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Commissioner, comment?
Yesterday I had the opportunity to attend the ribbon cutting ceremony down at Geisner, down in the Muncie area. And they're going to be a beautiful building, bringing a lot of jobs to the county. And they're going to be opening here in January. And it was a good ceremony. And just want to congratulate them and welcome them to our county. And hope for great things from another medical provider.
You know, I'm just going to add that about regarding bridges. In Muncie Township, there was a bridge, a small bridge, that provided access to about 7 homes. It was wiped out by the flood. It's a private road or a private bridge. And they came, I didn't have an opportunity to talk to you guys yet. I went down to the meeting, and they came seeking some kind of help or remedy. And when DEP gave them an emergency permit, right? And so the engineer looked at it and you know, I'm not an engineer, but anyway, got approved, and they put it in. And there's actually more space for the water to run through now. They used, what do they call them? The pipes. So there's 3 big pipes and 2 small ones. Well, DEP said, well, that's not acceptable. Now, this is on private land. And the homeowners already paid for it. Now, they've had floods, I have pictures, since high waters. It does show that it takes the water much quicker, better. And when it does flood, it will go out the same, but they raised the road on both sides so that there could be more volume, okay? We need to advocate for these people.
Why did DEP say it was not acceptable?
Well, I don't know exactly why, but what they didn't like is that wherever there is a pipe, that means there has to be something to fill that in, so which stops the water. But there's more opening than what was there before. So I don't know, but they certainly can't afford 2 bridges, and we're just going to have to advocate for it and see what we can do for them.
And maybe we can get a meeting set up with DEP.
Yeah, they had problems earlier.
We are.
Okay. Yeah, I know they had problems earlier because Representative Ham was down here.
Yeah, I was with
Yeah, there was issues there, and I thought they had fixed, but it sounds like it was.
And sometimes you just, I don't know how it happened, but sometimes you have to just say, hey, use some common sense, see what happens.
Okay. So, yeah, I do have a thing that I want to go over here. So there was a letter to the editor in Sunday's paper by Frank Tripoli, and I know Frank and I have utmost respect for him, and I want to respond to the concerns he raised about the primary health center.
Oh, okay.
So it was a very well-written, long letter, and he raised some issues that I think we should let him know about. So one of the issues is, did we look at potential options with Geisinger or UPMC? This is a health center that we have voted to install at 3rd Street Plaza as an effort to reduce our health care costs. We did, UPMC did respond to the RFP that we put out. This, Mr. Tripoli, this was done through a very transparent process where we had a request for proposal, and we had about 7 companies, I think.
We had, overall, I believe we had 8.
We had 8 companies. We did 2 requests for proposal. One was on our healthcare system.
One was for the broker, that was
right.
10, and then there was the healthcare
center.
We interviewed 5.
Right, we interviewed 5. Well, actually, right, there were 8 responses. One company never showed up for the interview when we interviewed them, and we ended up interviewing 5.
And it was a year-long process.
Right, year-long process. We brought together a committee of about 25.
Not that many.
No,
Probably
maybe
about
15.
Yeah.
15 department heads, employees, elected officials. And we interviewed them all, and they had to respond to, in the RFP, they had to respond to questions we asked about return on investment, et cetera, et cetera. UPMC did respond. We actually toured the UPM facility. Ultimately, we decided that what they did there was different from what we were trying to do, and they were not selected as a result of the RFP. I don't think Geisinger responded to the RFP. The other question, Mr. Tripoli, that you raised is, will the health center duplicate primary care or wellness centers at Geisinger and UPMC? Cost is what drives the use of the center, meaning that we are trying to eliminate the added cost of facilities such as Geisinger and UPMC. For example, the availability at our health center will be primary care, urgent care, preventative care. That's really important, preventative care. Because we are self-funded, if we can catch a problem with, for example, cancer in year 1, and it doesn't escalate and it's caught in year 5, it could end up saving $500,000 easily. X-rays, immunizations, pharmacy, care coordination, that's really important. We sometimes have employees, not just employees, but people are on multiple medications. Part of what the health center is going to do is going to help people so that they are not getting sicker or taking medications that might be contravening other medications, right? Mr. Tripoli, you raised about the cost. So, for example, one of the things that I learned recently is that if you get certain blood tests done in a doctor's office, you might pay $60. Under regulations that are passed, facilities such as Geisinger and UPMC can charge up to $600. That's because they have more overhead costs, but for some things we don't need it. You also asked, and I'm just responding to you because I think that you really put together a well-written letter, and I'm sure that the issues you raised, other members of the public have. You asked about confidential records, specialized employees. All the laws and regulations that apply HIPAA are going to be handled by Integrity Health. Integrity Health is managing it. The commissioners are not sitting there looking over, are we going to hire a doc? You know, we'll lay out the parameters of what we want based on looking at our data. So to respond to your concern about the return on investment, we have years and years of data on what problems our employees have, not by name, but by diabetes, musculoskeletal. We then analyze. One of the things that Integrity Health does, along with our broker, is we analyze the data and we figure out, okay, if we invest X amount of money in an X-ray machine, what will be the rate of return on the machine? Commissioner Macer and I, this was before Commissioner Metzger was elected, we visited a health center run by this organization in around 2017, I think. We spoke to elected officials there. They did say they had saved a lot of money. And the cost-benefit analysis, so far we're at about 1.5 to 1, which means that for every dollar we invest, we anticipate saving about $1.50. It's about a rate of return of about 150%. Yeah. And we did speak to healthcare professionals and visited a site. So anyway, if you have any other questions, feel free to call us. We appreciate you putting this in the paper, and I hope that I've answered the questions, and we're happy to discuss more with you.
Thank you for reaching out, Frank. Okay, any other comments? Anything on the?
I do have a couple public comments on that.
Okay, we don't have any from the audience, or do we? Okay, online?
Online, Cora Parker, Vast.tech. Thomas Adam, good day. I think and firmly believe any and all mandates for masks and vaccines for COVID be outlawed for any business and institution that are open to public traffic, including employees of healthcare facilities. Masks and vaccines are proving to be more of a problem for health than a benefit. These practices must be left to each individual as his or her conscience dictates. The statistics cited for deaths by COVID in the county are unreliable. Garbage in, garbage out. There are three kinds of lies, says to my college professor. Lie, damn lies, and statistics. In accordance with international law within the Nuremberg Code, which outlaws any type of coercion tactics to be used. Also, in accordance with federal and state laws outlawing such tactics, also as contained in the spirit and letter of our state and federal constitutions, freedom of religion coinciding with the right of conscience laws. Do you realize Italy has reduced the original cause of COVID deaths by 97%? Just one tidbit for thought. Thank you. Tom Adams, Williamsburg.
And Tom had reached out to us yesterday. We were in a meeting yesterday when Tom had called at the end of the day. And I know Tom. So, Tom, I'll be reaching out to you this afternoon, and I'll give you a call.
3 more on there.
Okay.
I have another comment for today. Although I have plenty more that I could proclaim, I will hold them for other meetings. I am extending an invitation to everyone interested and able to attend a prayer meeting at the Savoy Plaza, Montoursville, 10 a.m. to noon. This is for the purpose of turning our hearts, minds, and spirits to hear our Creator and beg His forgiveness and guidance in these trying times. In the spirit of our founders and prior state and national leaders, to implore His mercies on us all. Please invite pastors and others to join us. P.S. Be in the space next to budgets.
Okay, thank you.
Who is that?
Thomas Adams.
Oh, that's also Tom.
Yes.
Also. And what date is that scheduled for?
It didn't say.
Okay, all right. I'll talk to Tom later today. I'll give him a call. Okay, we have completed our agenda, and we will look forward to being back here next Tuesday, December 14th. At that time, we'll be voting on the final approval for the budget for 2022. So thank you, have a good day, and enjoy your week. Thank you.
Pat, for sticking through with us.
Pardon?
You always.
Our next meeting's gonna be 35 minutes.
Yeah.
You always.
Longer.
You always.
Did I know you on that?
35 minutes longer.
We've had 3 long meetings in a row.
I didn't think this was gonna.
I didn't think so.
Next time, lose that